Can you sing, can you dance, pull a rabbit from your pants, make a rhyme, tell a joke, burp when you drink a Coke? That's not a talent, nope. Jump a hurdle, do a flip, get your dog to do a trick, top talent. Top talent. Play piano, play guitar, hit a ball really far. Are you a superstar? Let's find out who you are. That's the end of this song, it's already too long. Top talent, everybody, top talent. This is my podcast, can't sing this anymore, cause the words are too fast. Top talent.
Well, I'll be coming up to Cohoes, New York, to play a show. And if you think this even sounds modestly like James Taylor, then you might want to go.
Welcome to Top Talent, the fascinating podcast about incredible talent residing or coming to Albany, New York's capital region, with your host, former radio personality and resident rhymer Richie Phillips. And now, without further blabbing from me, your virtual announcer, who really doesn't exist in the flesh, as if you couldn't guess. Coming to you direct from his basement next to the hot water heater, here's Richie.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mr. Announcer. This is Richie Phillips, a.k.a. Ryman Richie. That was my moniker on the radio for over 30 years, if you listen from the capital region. Kind of a goofy nickname, but I loved it, and I'm keeping it, and nobody's allowed to take it. As a matter of fact, I'm rhyming as we speak, and I'm going to give you an example. But by the way, the voice that you heard right at the beginning, he is my guest. Sounded like James Taylor, didn't he? He is a James Taylor tribute artist, and a great one. He's the #1 tribute artist in America. His name is Bill Griese. Had a great talk with him, and we're going to get to that in a second. But, I've been watching the news lately, and always interrupted with a commercial. And it's a commercial or series of commercials for a particular product category that's driving me absolutely insane. And I wish they would stop it. And this is my rhymatorial. I'm going to give you that, and then we will have our discussion with Bill Griese here on Top Talent.
Every single night on the 6 o'clock news, there's so many advertisements from which you can choose. They all seem to remind you of all of your ills. Every single damn product's in the form of a pill. They brag about conditions that they promise to cure. They give them names that you've never ever heard of before. So as a public service, I have taken the time to make them all rhyme. Claritin for your allergy, Prevagen for your memory, Fasenra for your asthma, and Farxiga controls your A1C. But in their defense, so does Jardiance. But pain can be intense in your perineum. Don't ask me where that is. Now on to Eliquis. And if you have AFibs, that's how you treat them. Dupixent for atopic dermatitis, Humira for rheumatoid arthritis. And if someone is giving you bad karma, take Entresto so you don't buy the pharma. Rexulti for depression. For Crohn's, you take Stelara. For COPD, take some Trelegy. And do not wait for tomorrow. This melody gives me pains in my head, so I'll be taking some Ubrelvy and going to bed. I hope I sang you something that you did not expect. My next song will rhyme all of the side effects.
Well, there you go. My tribute to medications. Hey, tribute. That's the whole name of the game on this particular podcast, because my guest is a tribute artist, a James Taylor tribute artist, and a great one at that. He's going to be at the Cohoes Music Hall. The Cohoes Music Hall is coincidentally in Cohoes, New York, on April the 5th. That's a Friday night, but again, you may be listening to this, 6 months from now. But if you are in the area, I'm sure you can go on the website and check it out on the Cohoes Music Hall's website. In the meantime, without further ado, I'd like to get into the conversation. This is Bill Griese. Of course, I originally pronounced it Bill Griese because it's Griese, but he schooled me, as you will hear. And here he is on Top Talent. Oh, by the way, I never really asked if your last name is pronounced Griese or Griese, but I'm going to go with Griese.
Well, you're close. There's an at the end, so it's Griese.
No kidding. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Bill Griese.
Yeah, it's of German Orient, so that's how it's pronounced in in German, I guess.
All right,
Griese.
so I'm going to change the last E to an A so I don't make that mistake, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. And you are coming to this area. Have you ever been to the Albany area?
I have been. I've been there a couple times over the years, but I'm going to be playing at the Cohoes Music Hall, and I have been there once prior. It's a great venue, and they're having me back, so I'm very excited about it.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that you came here before because I try to follow this, but I'll tell you, there is an explosion here of tribute bands. Are you finding this all over the country?
Oh yeah, yep, definitely.
And what do you attest this to? Is it just for financial reasons for these?
Yeah,
it's good
I think
for you.
So.
It's great for you. I'll tell you, it's fantastic for you.
I think so. We are. It's just kind of the way things have gone. It's a sign of the times. People want to hear the music that they know and love already,
right?
And people, I just don't think, have quite as much tolerance or risk-taking ability to, want to just go out and hear new music that they just don't know.
Right.
And so there's a lot of musicians out there who, like myself, for instance, might spend their life doing music, might write music, might have tried to, break through and have a kind of a singer-songwriter career, or a band might be trying to work hard doing all that. And then at some point you realize that, well, nobody really knows who I am. So you get a few fans out there who know of your CDs and who have seen you locally or things like that. But unless you break it big, then you're kind of in that middle tier of, you're a talented musician, but you don't really have a giant audience. And so you're not maybe going to be making a living
right
doing music all the time,
Right. So it keeps you out there. Yep.
But if you go out and you pay homage to somebody that is, a legend, and people, want to go see that, and you offer maybe a more intimate type of a small venue experience, up close and personal. Maybe you go to a town or a location that the major artist is not going to. In many cases, of course, the major artist or band is no longer either alive or together.
Right.
So, it gives people an opportunity to go hear and sing along with the songs that they love, in a different way than either seeing the main artist themselves, or they just can't see the main artists themselves anymore.
In this Cohoes Music Hall, you wouldn't believe it, they have tributes coming up. This is their schedule to Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, Prince, the Bee Gees, Rush, the Dead, the Beatles, the Stones, Led Zeppelin, Frankie Valli, and Fleetwood Mac. All tribute bands. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And that's all in one night.
Yeah, that's a big show, really. Yeah.
That's just a Friday.
That's just the opening act. Right. Now, why James Taylor for you originally? Yes, when you were out as yourself, did people say, wow, you sound like James Taylor? Or is it because of your interest?
That's my life story.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
And I'll be totally honest with you. I mean, as a musician too, because I'm always honest, Richie, but
right.
Extra honest here. I'm just gonna lay it on the table. As a musician, I mean, I didn't set out saying I want to, do a tribute act to somebody. That was not my goal.
Right.
Of course, a lot of bands start out playing cover music, right?
Sure. Oh, sure. That's how they all start.
Yeah. And it's just kind of the way it has gone. I myself, and I'm sure a lot of other musicians too, it's not really like I want to say, oh, I'm a tribute act,
Right.
Because for some people there is a bit of a stigma attached to that. Some people have no desire to go see tribute bands, and I'm not even that big on them, if I'm totally candid.
Interesting.
But, oh yeah. But, hey, it's easy to sort of have an opinion on something, but then life comes and next thing you know, here I am doing this. Now, in my particular case, first of all, a lot of times, like you said, with whatever it is, a Kiss or a Bee Gees, Elton John, Rush, heck, Frank Sinatra, things like that, Elvis. A lot of times, tribute acts and bands, there is a certain visual component that is almost just as important as the audio component.
I was going to say the same thing. In your case, it's not. Yeah. I don't think it's as important. But when you go see the Beatles, I want to. And I'm like you. I'm a musician myself. When I go, I want to see the beat. I'm very picky with a Beatles tribute act, right?
Yeah. So people, there's a performance art aspect of it,
correct?
That people expect, and so in my particular case, I actually that's not part of my show. Now, James Taylor is not really a mimicable person, but I know that there are other James Taylor tribute acts around the country. I mean, I do my homework. I know what's going on, and a lot of times, they will still try to dress like him or look like him or wear hats like him or whatever. In my particular case, that is just not my thing, and I don't want to do it. So for me, it's always just been about the music. And I'm very much myself in the show. I'm not pretending to be James Taylor. I'm not going to, some people even talk like in the as if they're the character.
That's right.
I saw an ABBA tribute that did that. It's like, so for me, I told you I'm a talker. So
good.
Basically,
I'll just go get coffee. You keep going.
Yeah. You just how much tape do you have?
I'm retired. We can do this till 5:00 tonight if you want.
Yeah. So for me, it was. I grew up listening to James Taylor and folk music. I was singing along with that folk rock. I was singing along with that in my adolescent years. JT was my absolute favorite.
Yep.
Then I picked up guitar sort of between high school and college. I was playing a lot of that finger picking style. So he totally shaped the way I approach singing and the way I approach guitar and everything else. It just so happens that physiologically, I guess my throat, my vocal cords and stuff are similar to his. So that whole thing, baked in the oven, gave me basically an adult life of whenever I play music, people always say, you sound just like James Taylor.
Right.
And I mean, it's a great compliment, but I could never get away from it. I could not ever play. And I was out there playing covers and original songs and all kinds of things over the years. There's not a single time I've ever played music where people haven't come and told me you sound like James Taylor.
But you're also a songwriter in your own right now. When you try to write a song, when you listen back to it, do you go, wow, here's James Taylor coming out on me again? Or do you know what I mean?
Every once in a while. Yeah, every once in a while. Not to such an extreme, because I have so many musical influences, but yeah, so I was, in my adult life, it was a serious hobby and it became more and more serious. I've done a couple of independent albums. I've had a couple of TV sync deals. But it wasn't meant to be for me to have, Bill Griese, a solo musician. And I was married.
I beg to differ with you. I know your albums, Too Long Coming, For This Day.
Yeah, look at you.
Come on. And plus, I was on the radio for 30 years and I did song parodies and stuff. I see you have a song on there called Taylor Swift's X.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's the kind of stuff I love. And I just saw the title. And I heard just about a verse and a chorus before I went on here. I just stumbled upon that. That's a great idea.
I'm pretty eclectic with my offerings out there. And so, sometimes I'll just do fun songs and they'll be out there on YouTube or whatever. A buddy of mine, Dave Hammer, who's a great lifelong friend of mine, that was his idea, actually. We've written a few songs together and he came to me and he had this Taylor Swift's X idea.
I love it.
And so we wrote that together and it was a fun song, really just fun about like, hey, if I want to be Taylor Swift's X, because all the publicity comes your way.
Oh my God. That would be big right now. You could release that thing right now. I was looking, what do you think the appeal of James Taylor is Well, let me ask you this: when you do your shows, do you get younger audiences as well? I mean, are you seeing younger people like rediscovering or discovering James Taylor through your tribute act?
To a degree, honestly, it's more who they come with usually.
Right.
The younger people might come with parents or grandparents, or sometimes they just come on their own. But yes, the crowd does skew older because, just sort of look at when he was big. And,
sure.
So the crowd does skew older. But there is variety there. And there are young people who do still come to the shows. And my favorite things are when people aren't even that familiar with James Taylor and they come to the show, maybe with somebody, a date, or like I said, a parent or whatever, or a friend, and then they end up really getting their eyes opened to James Taylor, as if he's kind of a new artist for them. And then they go and check out all his stuff. It really is. I love that. That's my favorite. Yeah.
You doing a tribute is paying service to him. It's helping people discover him. I mean, you're doing a service to James Taylor, if you look at it in that way. I was thinking about him and his longevity. He's 75 years old, 76 years old? No, maybe he's not that old.
In there, no, he's right around in there, yeah.
But when you look at some of these older artists like Frankie Valli, Peter Cetera, Paul McCartney, you look at their music and the range, their vocal range, it's very difficult for them to continue singing in their 70s and 80s. But James Taylor I would think, could just keep going because, his music, the vocal range isn't really that tough. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally. I can hear that.
He sounds just as good now.
He doesn't, he's not stretching his chords quite as high as some of those other folks.
Right.
And he's just got a great voice. And I happen to know from reading stuff and seeing interviews and things that over the years, he's really taken great care of his vocal instrument. He's put in a lot of work with exercises and all kinds of stuff. So he knows what he's doing to preserve that voice too. And
sure.
Yeah. He's always been a road warrior too. So I imagine that he will basically just do that as long as he wants to until he decides, either I've had enough or I'm not living up to my own standards anymore.
Correct.
Yep.
Now, another thing about your shows is with you just going out with a guitar and a vocal, people are really listening to your guitar. And I've been listening to your guitar. You really can play the guitar as well as sing. I mean, to play James Taylor chords, you can't be a lightweight.
No, it's scary out there. It is. This is a true story. I've played when I first came up with this idea and said I want to do a James Taylor tribute. I told my wife I think it was probably 8 years ago now, and what I told her was, music is, first of all, it's my favorite thing. Secondly, it's the thing that I'm best at in my life. And I've spent a career in kind of marketing and advertising prior to that. And music was always kind of the thing I was aspiring to, but I could never quote unquote quit my day job,
Right.
And so I told her, this is the thing that I'm best at and that I enjoy the most. And we get one life, and heck, everybody's telling me all the time, you sound like James Taylor. And I've been playing his music my whole life. I love all these songs. If God's gift to me is you sound like James Taylor, then I think I want to actually take that and do something with it. Yeah. And I think I see an opportunity where I could step up music and maybe turn it into a full-time thing, And so that's kind of why I started doing it. And then what I have found is, yes, the guitar aspect of it, going to see my show just solo acoustic, it lets somebody really appreciate what he does on the guitar. And I don't do it this exact same or as good as Sir Taylor can, of course, but I've gotten so much better. And the story I was going to tell you is, so I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to do the James Taylor tribute thing. And I started playing a bunch of the songs that I've been playing for decades and decades and decades. And then I put on a recorder, or I went through my amp or something, and I started listening. And right away I said, ooh, that's not good enough.
Right.
What's that sound? Why is there a buzzing sound? Why am I messing up these chords? And it very quickly became evident to me that if you're going to get up on stage and people are going to pay money and you're going to be in front of people and everybody can hear everything,
yeah,
I need to get a lot better. And this was after playing these songs hundreds upon hundreds of times, so I actually just had to put in practice for probably 6 or 9 months. I just started playing all the songs again and again and again and again. And finally I got to the point where I said, okay, I can do it. And then from the point I went live until now, I'm in a totally different place. Every day I still play and practice. It's just taken so much hard work to get these to a polished degree. It's really a testament to what a great guitar player James Taylor is.
Because for musicians listening, let's say you're going to play a song that's just, I have my keyboard here, but it's set to a guitar sound. But like if you're going to play just like a C, a song with like C, F, and G in it, James Taylor would have like 5 chords in between the C and the F, right?
Right.
You'll listen back and go, what is he playing in there? He's very intricate and yet very simple at the same time. It sounds simple, but it ain't simple.
Well, that's the thing. He makes it sound so simple, but there's a lot of interesting, unexpected, oftentimes chords going on in there and different notes. And even if he's playing a straight, it sounds like a C, but when you really go to play it, you say, well, I'm playing a C, but it doesn't sound like the C that he's playing,
Exactly.
So he plays very different variations of the chords. So,
And he learned it himself. I don't think he reads music. Or maybe he does today, but I think, right? Do you read music?
I believe you're right. I believe he's largely self-taught. Yep.
Amazing. How about you?
Same.
You don't read music?
Oh, no. I'm so bad with music. I cannot read music. I can hardly even name the strings on the guitar for you, Richie.
I'm very similar. I've always been
I always have
trained.
to go the strings. Okay. E, A.
Right. Yeah, and on the piano, I used to learn every good boy does fine.
That's right.
I was thinking you could James Taylorize any song by throwing in one of the James Taylor chords. Tell me if I'm wrong with this. Let's say if James Taylor was going to do the ABC song, would it be something like A, B, C, D, E, F, G? He always throws that in there.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? H, I, J, K, and he'll go L-M-N-O-P.
He James Taylorizes things, that's for sure.
You're listening to my talk with Bill Griese, a James Taylor tribute artist. We'll be back after a word from our sponsor. Me. It's me again, your worst nightmare. Are you enjoying this tribute artist? If so, please subscribe to the podcast and tell somebody. And by the way, I've already done interviews with tributes to Judy Garland, the Fab Four, Elton John, Cher, Billy Joel, and Joni Mitchell. No, not the real thing, but tribute artists, and they're all here on my podcast. I will put links in the show notes. And now back to our regularly unscheduled program. Let's continue with my talk with Bill Griese, James Taylor tribute artist extraordinaire, here on Top Talent. Have you heard his American Standards album where he takes those old songs?
I have. Yeah. It's impressive.
Now, Teach Me Tonight is a song I would never play on my own, probably, and I'd never put it on and listen to it. But after that, it's become one of my favorite James Taylor songs, and it's not even his. The way he plays it is just beautiful.
Yeah, and it's funny because I usually tell audiences this, but the thing that I most respect about James Taylor, or that speaks to me the most, is his songwriting, his songs. I'm a writer, and
sure.
I just have always loved songwriting. But in addition to being such an incredible songwriter, he also has always had a knack for doing, just as you said, doing his own cover versions of songs and Taylorizing them.
Right.
And he's had great success with that, whether it's How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You, or
Right.
or Handyman, or Up on the Roof, or Every Day. He's had some big hits where it's his re-envisioning other songs and doing them in his style. And so he's great at that.
Even
Also.
from his first album, I think he did "Oh Susanna," right? Like
Yeah,
a
it's a
very
really
old
cool
song.
version.
Yeah.
It's a really cool version, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. So what would you say is your favorite James Taylor song to play? Or is
It's
that
so funny.
tough question?
How could I not see that question coming?
Yeah.
I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared.
That's going to be the obvious interview question, right?
Oh, yeah. I have a few. I would say, when it all boils down, probably Something in the Way She Moves
Yeah.
is probably my favorite. Spoiler alert, I actually start every single show with that song.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yep. And that's always just been one of my favorites. I mean, it's I love Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight. I love Your Smiling Face.
Yep.
I mean, I love so many of them, but those are a few of my absolute favorites.
And are you
Secret of Life.
playing with the faster songs? Do you play to tracks, or is it simply guitar and you the whole time?
No, it's just me and my guitar. I'm very strict about that. I will not use anything other than me and my guitar. So, and It makes it challenging, because when you're playing songs that are more rocking, or people just hear the band behind it and stuff, of course it's different. But
right.
Yeah, it's a very interesting show, mine, because of the solo acoustic presentation. It's a different thing than anybody will get. And I encourage everybody to go see James Taylor live. I mean, I'm not trying to take away business from James Taylor. No. Do I have the pull to. But, if you go see James Taylor in recent years, especially, it's James Taylor and his big band type of a thing,
Right.
So it's funny, because my show is just me and my guitar, and it's kind of like that way, way, way old style JT in the early 70s, when he would just play by himself. And so, it gives you a different, viewpoint of the songs, but it strips everything down to just his songwriting, which is what I love about the evening. Is people tell me all the time, I heard all the words.
Right.
I never realized what a great song that was. I appreciate his lyrics, all that stuff. And those often get drowned out when you have a full band. You just don't hear the words.
So you've never played with a full band?
No, I have, actually. When I started this whole thing, I had aspirations of doing it as a band. And so, in the beginning, I was actually doing it full band. And then after a while, I basically started going on the road solo acoustic, and just because of coordination and financial realities, I realized, I could fly up to Boston and do a solo show, but I can't and take the risk,
Right.
And maybe not make any money, or oftentimes lose money. But that's okay. This is what I want to do. But I had a full band down here in Nashville, and we were playing a little bit more locally. We did a couple of traveling shows, but I quickly realized I want to do this. Like, I'm all in, and I can't get 4 and 5 other guys, obviously, to be all in. Everybody has their own life and work and marriage and kids, and
sure,
nobody's quitting their day job, but this is what I wanted to do. So I was intent on quitting my day job, and I realized the only way for me to really do it is going to be lean and mean. So as soon as I started going out solo acoustic, not only did it allow me to take the show nationally, but I quickly got spoiled where I could do anything I wanted on the stage. And I realized this is what I love, You don't
have to get together with people to practice, and even that
no,
is a pain.
Gosh, exactly. Right. I don't have to practice with people. I mean, I love the guys that I played with, especially bass and drum guy, Cordell and Ryan. I mean, they're great friends of mine, and it was a very, very hard thing for me to just tell them, look, guys, you know, and I whittled it down a little bit year by year. I went down from 5 to 4 to then a trio, and then I just said, guys, you know, I'm going for it, and you know, this is what I need to do. I've quit my job. And so we're friends. We'll do music casually. They're doing a new band, and I'm excited for them, for their stuff. But, you know, for them, it's more of a local, you know, they have kids and they have jobs, day jobs,
sure,
you know, office jobs and all that stuff. And so I'm going out on the road, and you don't get the power and excitement as you do as a performer when you have a band around you, but that's the only thing you don't get, you know, like I much prefer every other aspect of it, because heck, I can stop in the middle of a song if I want to, and
which
just
is great.
You know, it's like, and I'm a very spontaneous person, so no two of my shows are ever the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a freedom in working on your own. I've always done like a piano bar, and I always loved it. I could do the same thing, stop whenever I wanted to, or you know, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure. You know, some of my personal favorite things to look at when I look at James Taylor performances. Have you ever seen when he sang with the Dixie Chicks?
Oh yeah.
That I've watched that clip. I have to say I've probably watched that 10 times, when he sings like "Some Days You Gotta Dance with the Dixie Chicks," and you can just see the reverence that the Dixie Chicks had for him, just by they look at him every second when he played.
Totally.
Yeah. Another thing that is great. Have you heard his audio book, Break Shot?
Yes. Yeah, and he reads it himself.
Yeah, he reads it himself. Yeah, that was fascinating. What
I
a
loved
story.
it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for part 2.
Yeah, I was just going to say, my memory is not that great, but I kind of feel like I was left wanting more. And
yeah.
Maybe there is going to be a part 2.
I really hope there is, yeah. Well, this is great. I'm sure everyone's dying to hear you, and I can't wait to see it
Everyone
myself.
is, Richie.
Everyone is. Exactly. And you're on a world-famous podcast where millions are listening. Well, my wife is upstairs. And
my dog is on the ground listening to this conversation.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm really glad you gave me the time. Now you go into the studio. You're saying you're going to sing. What does that mean? You're going to be singing your own songs, or?
Yeah. So I basically have over the years done, you know, a fair amount of songwriting and some recording, and I basically, you know, did a couple of CDs, albums, whatever you want to call them now, and then also just some one-off singles. And it's been a long time. It's been more than 10 years, maybe a dozen years now since my second album. And the songwriting took a back seat. And ever since I started this James Taylor thing, I just put so much time into it. I mean, I do everything for the business. So I'm the business person, and I'm the artist, and I'm the booking agent, and I'm the advertising person,
wow.
and I'm the, you know, and I'm the financial guy, you know, like I do everything myself. So as you might imagine, it's like a 24/7 job, and especially because it's my own business and I had to start it up. So these last, you know, 6-7 years, I mean, I have never put so much time into something and worked so hard in my whole life. And then I got to practice also.
Sure.
You know?
Oh, absolutely.
And so basically what happened was my own personal music just took a back seat. And finally, I have all these songs kind of collected that I hadn't recorded yet. And so I recently decided I'm going to get in the studio, and I'm going to just make a third full-length album before I let any more time pass and I regret it. So I'm recording a 12-song album here in Nashville, and I'm getting toward the end of it. And I'm singing. Hopefully today might be my last day of singing in the studio, and I'm just really, really, really excited about it.
Now, the fact that you're in Nashville, I can't necessarily assume it's a country album, right? Or is it?
Oh, no, it's not. It's, you know, it's kind of a folk pop.
Uh-huh.
It's, you know, my style is pretty similar to a James Taylor-y type of a thing. So it is not country. It's folk, I would say folk pop type of a thing.
Do you like the country that's on radio now? Do you like the version of country that it's kind of morphed into?
Yeah, I do not.
Yeah.
I don't like country music. As a default, I'm not the hugest country music fan. Although I do like a lot of country music. I in particular got heavily into country music in the country music boom of the late 80s into the early to mid 90s.
Bingo.
I was very, very much into country there because, again, the songwriting component of it just really I appreciated. But now, and I live in Nashville. Heck, I moved to Nashville to pursue songwriting among other things. So I was writing country music and similar, and I was pitching songs and networking and co-writing with people and the whole thing. And it coincided with when I moved here 12 years ago. I just feel like the product just started going down, down, down. And all anybody wanted to write was what they call bro country party songs.
Eesh, I know. I started
misogynistic junk as far as I'm concerned. And it was very disappointing to me. And I finally just said, I'm not doing this. It's like that's all anybody wants. And so I started on the country station here in 1988. So I just by accident started when country music was in that phase, which was so good. And you heard the late 80s stuff. And by the way, recently we had Randy Travis come to this area, and Randy Travis and his wife, and they come up here and they do a kind of a Q&A type of a show. Yeah.
And I had the biggest thrill in my life. I have a friend who produces the shows here locally, and he asked if I wanted to do just like an opening act, like singing some of Randy Travis's songs. And I said, you mean I'm going to sing Randy Travis's songs in front of Randy Travis? And I did it. It was the biggest thrill of my whole life.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Because this was at the point where he could no longer sing, right?
Yeah, this was in the past year.
Yeah.
Past year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that he's out and about doing that. I hadn't realized that. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. He goes out with his wife and, they get whoever it is, maybe in whatever area they are, to sing some of his songs. And then they'll do a Q&A with the audience. And it's a great show, I'll tell you.
What a great idea. He was one of my absolute favorites. I had, probably 4 or 5 of his albums. Randy Travis, Garth Brooks. Clint Black, Alan Jackson, Keith Whitley.
Yep.
I was really into that stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really appreciated that era of country music.
I know I'm all over the board here, but have you seen Garth Brooks's new bar yet? Have you gone downtown to see that?
Well, I haven't gone in it, but I've seen it.
You've seen it? Yeah.
Yeah. Nashville is, it's like Vegas now. It's unbelievable. So we go down sometimes, but it's as a local, you kind of go and it's not, I'm not kidding you. When you go downtown on a weekend, if you're not in a bachelorette party, you might want to wear earplugs, just to filter. You can hurt your ears down.
It's all kinds of music at the same time, right? Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, as a musician, I value my ears. So it's like, wait a second, too many decibels.
There's a Garth Brooks documentary on now, the building of his new club. It's
yep.
And I was watching.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and he even mentions, because there was a bar like down the street. He said, well, you walk in there and there's like 5 bands playing at once. He goes, it's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. That would drive me nuts too, to hear like everything at once. But he loves it.
I like Garth Brooks though.
Yeah, he's amazing.
By all accounts, I know some people who know him and everything. By all accounts, he's a really good person.
Yeah, he seems like it. He really does seem like it. Now, one person who I've had a chance to meet, being on the radio. Phil Vassar, did you say? I'm name dropping here.
I know Phil. I've been in his house several times.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he came here and sat in on our morning show, and I had a keyboard on the air, so we played Piano Man together. And he's such a great guy.
He is a great, great guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yep. Well, I don't want to keep you any longer because I know you got some singing to do, and I've got to take out the garbage and clean out the cat crap. So
yeah, me too.
Oh, you too.
I have 2 cats and a dog. I do litter box. I'm litter box guy every day.
Yeah, that's me too. Do you have kids?
2 kids, 23 and 21 years old, basically.
Nice. Are they down there too? Are they close to you?
No, my son graduated college and got his first job, and he's out in Portland, Oregon for that. And my daughter is a senior at the College of Worcester in Worcester, Ohio.
Wow.
No, a junior. I said a senior, and she's a 3rd year.
Any music aspirations for either of them? Or?
No, not the sort. No, not at all, actually. They both did high school band and marching band, and they were both into that. But other than that, they put their instruments down after high school graduation, and I don't think they'll ever need to pick them up again.
Same with my son. He's in marketing as well. Yep.
Okay.
But they still love music. That's all that counts.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you love it.
Both my kids love music. Both my kids love music.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank God I didn't call you James. I knew I was going to slip and call you Jim, but I didn't. So
everybody does it.
Yeah, right.
So it doesn't offend me. But yeah, I'm very excited. Thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Now I don't really know, when you put this podcast out, when people will be able to hear it.
Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Correct.
So
yep.
And that's next. What the heck day is today? Wednesday?
Yeah, I call this Top Talent. And I was going to put them out on Top Talent Tuesday, to have a little ringing of a bell there mentally. But in your case, I'm going to put it out earlier, just to get a little more advertising for you as much as
I see.
Not that you need it or anything, but I want to help you.
Yeah. But I guess, so I guess I should, if the business marketing man in me step to the front, I guess I should say that the show is this Friday, April the 5th.
Yeah.
At the Cohoes Music Hall at 8 p.m.
That's correct.
And there's a bunch of people coming, and I'm happy about that. But there's still plenty of seats to be had. Not in the orchestra. I'm happy to see. I was just looking. It's not many, but the mezzanine is still got lots of availability. So I hope people hear this and say, I'll go to that.
Yes, I hope they do as well. And your website is sweetbabyjamesofficial.com. Is that correct?
Yep. Sweetbabyjamesofficial.com.
And what really frustrates me doing a podcast is I can't play any of your music because of copyright, but I have gone on YouTube and seen some of your cuts. If people want to see, demos of your material, they can just type in your name, or is it James Taylor Tribute? What do I type in? I forgot how I found.
Well, the good news is I'm sort of I'm the go-to James Taylor Tribute person when you do searches anywhere. So if you just search James Taylor Tribute,
okay,
thankfully. You'll find me very quickly.
Great!
So that's an easy way.
Yeah, I found you quickly.
And,
All right, sounds good. Bill, thank you so
much. I have no idea, Richie. Is there how it works in terms of like you said, you can't play the music. Can I sing something audibly, or I can't even do that?
On my podcast? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I can sing my own song. I can sing, well, I'll be coming up to Cohoes, New York to play a show. And if you think this even sounds modestly like James Taylor, then you might want to go.
Perfect.
There, I just sang, and we didn't violate any copyrights or anything.
It was an original. You won't get a strike. No, that's good. And you sounded just like James Taylor, so you passed the audition, as they say.
Well, very good. I didn't get gonged.
No, you didn't get gonged.
All right.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much, Richie. Truly, it's been a real pleasure, and
Same here.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hope to see you.
Check out the website at hirerichie.com. He is on Facebook at Ricky Phillips and Twitter at RymanRichie. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe and leave a comment. He reads them in bed. It makes him very happy.
Top talent.